Hello, America. Me again, here to annoy. Removal of industry. Their anticipation, and I know I've been talking about this for a while, or thinking about it for a while. Both, really. Both. Anticipation is revolution. They anticipate a revolution in this country when this Constitution is suspended. They will use all of their corporate money and all that they can hire to stop a revolution. But in the event of a revolution, which they know very well could happen at the suspension of the Constitution, they just don't want to stop production because trucks won't deliver into war zones. Supermarkets can't stock their shelves with bullets flying, although they try. Maybe some fresh produce will finally come out of it, some fresh food right off the farms, local farms. Personally, I began my own personal boycott concerning some of these Bilderbergers. One of them's Pepsi. I stopped drinking Pepsi. It's been really hard because I like cherry Pepsi. I think it's more than the next generation. I just think it's good. But now that I know what they're putting in water, it's probably not so good because I'm sure nothing they do really changes that, including carbonating. The Trilateral Commission, any of the groups that are affiliated with this, which includes Taco Bell, KFC, Long John Silver's, some of these other places. And I don't know if you know this, but Taco Bell uses mealworm. And it's a worm. You can look this up. It's all documented. There's a certain amount of mealworm you can add to your ground meat that the FDA approves of, and they push it absolutely to the limit. When I was working at a Pepsi Center, I took a temporary job when I first moved here while I was trying to get established, help raise a little money. They had me repackaging and relabeling ground meat in a walk-in cooler to get it ready, and then they had me relabel some flour that they were using in some other something. I don't know. I don't work at Taco Bell. So let's get down to it. Let's talk about meat after the mealworm. When you go to the supermarket, you have to look for meat products that are marked bovine hormone free, GMO free, antibiotic free, abuse free. What a horrible story. Using a forklift and beating the crap out of that cow. And now clone free? Come on. Cloned cows approved by the FDA. So you can just start cloning cows for the food source. 40 years ago, America began outsourcing small jobs, some technical and a lot of industry. Companies like Union Carbide, DuPont. We were glad to see some of those chemical companies just move away because they were poisoning our air and poisoning our water. Well, the sad part is they didn't stop manufacturing because now they're poisoning someone else's air and poisoning someone else's water. They began moving these jobs overseas. It was hardly noticeable. Some of the crappier jobs in the company, they found out they could do them cheaper in a third world nation. And then we found out shortly after that the third world nations were utilizing children 8, 9, 10 years old in poor third world nations, and we were horrified because we had long since outlawed child things. And do you think that stopped? No, it didn't. It still goes on to this day. Something you're probably wearing right now was made by a small child who could never afford to buy what you're wearing. Motherboards, during the Reagan years, all the technological stuff that was coming about, check my time, all the technological stuff that was coming about, we noticed Silicon Valley and everything that they were doing out there, but then they turned around and outsourced even those jobs to Japan and India and China because they could make them cheaper, which now I'm beginning to believe was a lie, because for quality assurance programs, I would think the cheaper end would be just to leave them here in order to take care of them that way. And what did we do as Americans? We survived. I was around during the 70s. I saw people who were being laid off left and right. I saw a recessive economy, borderline depression economy. And what did people do? They created this entire new industry in America called the service industry. And they found ways of servicing those people who had money, because obviously that's how you make money, is to service the wealthy, which is what they're really hoping for. Then everything that catered to the military complex on the West Coast, and when they started downsizing all of the military, because our military was designed to fight 2 wars. Well, I think we need to go back to that. And down as time passed, it was a little bit here and it was a little bit there, and no one really noticed because there were so few jobs. And then they became more jobs, and Americans adapted. Then there were more actual quality jobs, and Americans adapted. We found other ways of making money and utilizing our industry and intelligence. And I have to say, America rocks for that. Where any other country would be looking to their government to build corporations, we found other ways of surviving and creating these items that people just couldn't live without. Right now, we cannot completely build jets in this country to defend ourselves. For repair, we need to call Japan for major repair parts. We're screwed. We're screwed. If a war ever broke out, submarines could sink ships that bring supplies. So your answer is we fly the supplies in. No, we don't fly the supplies in. They ship them in. Now they're coming up through Mexico. Technology is based in a myriad of hidden folds. Combat tank motors are made here. The fuel for it comes from Venezuela. No kidding. California and Texas, three states that primarily create oil, not great quality oil, and then Alaska. Some of the best oil in the world is right in Alaska, and it doesn't come here. The Honda plant in Ohio announced that it was going to lay off the last of its 100 or so workers for making motorcycles. Sorry to hear about that, guys. The good news is some of you will be restationed at the Honda car manufacturing plant in Ohio. So we're down to almost a token basic amount of manufacture here. The sofa industry, I saw George Bush Jr. when he was talking about the sofa industry being outsourced. The steel industry, back to George Bush, he said, well, you're just going to have to find something new to do for a living, and tough crap. That's not the way America works. We are a nation of industry. We are the best producers in the world. We work the longest hours, and we experience some of the weirdest pay. The airline industry, I did a study on, or I did a follow-up on a study on this. The airline industry for repairs and maintenance outsources over 50% of its jobs to Canada and El Salvador. JetBlue outsources some 40% of their jobs. That means mechanical jobs here in this country that have gone away. Plenty of time. Southwest Airlines, over 64% of its mechanical repair jobs and upkeep have been outsourced to Canada and El Salvador, and this is the same for all. Continental, 65%. America West with America in it outsources 72% of all of its mechanical repair. Alaska Air, 80%. Companies in Canada and El Salvador now maintain our airplanes and do not have the same standards that the FAA requires. So yeah, keeping jobs in America is awesome. United goes to China for their repairs. Let's hope they don't do as badly as they do with their toys there. Job losses after September 11th. I don't know what that day has to do with it, but 10,000 staff and after 9,000 laid off jobs were outsourced. IBM cuts base pay 15%. These are all in the headlines. IBM is not an American-based company, just so you know. They're not from here, even though they do some manufacture here. And they used to bring jobs here, and now those jobs have gone into Asia. George Soros pointed out the inequity of the U.S. dollar. Unemployment. Yeah, let's see if I have enough time. Okay, no I don't. So I'll do that on another one. When you can no longer accept or file for unemployment, your numbers dropped off. So don't be fooled that unemployment's down. It means when you can no longer accept unemployment, you have to pretty much tough it. So yeah. The next one, we're going to start talking about the presidents. See you in the next one.